Bonjour, mon nom est Jean-Sébastien Vallée, professeur et directeur des études chorales à l'école de musique Schulich de l'Université McGill et directeur du chœur Madison de Toronto. We're only a few weeks from the first ever Montreal Summer Choral Academy, and we'll be welcoming and connecting with choral artists from across Canada to explore and experience the power of choral music. Our academy begins on June 15 and opens with a roundtable with choral leaders to discuss the power of many voices. Ahead of this roundtable, I'm thrilled to have a chance to chat with Meghan Hila. Meghan is a choral artist, leader, and administrator who spent the past 10 years with Choral Canada, and from 2019 to 2025, just recently, she was the executive director of Choral Canada, our national choral organization. Meghan, bienvenue et merci de
Merci.
prendre le temps de parler avec nous. En tout premier temps, je veux te remercier personnellement et au nom de toute la communauté pour tout ce que tu as fait et feras, j'en suis sûr, pour le développement de l'art choral. Alors, commençons par le commencement. Te rappelles-tu du moment où tu es tombé en amour avec la musique chorale?
Euh, ouh, J'étais 7 ans, je pense, et l'église Saint Matthew's à Ottawa. Euh, Ils ont commencé un chœur pour les femmes et les filles. C'était la première fois parce qu'avant, c'était seulement pour les hommes. Et ma maman, elle a chanté dans cette chœur et j'ai entendu le chœur à ce moment, je pense que comme j'étais 7 ans. Et j'ai dit, oh, je peux faire ça, je peux chanter dans un chœur. Et c'est commencé avec ça. Et après ça, j'ai chanté dans tous les chœurs, à l'école, dans la communauté et vraiment dans l'église pour beaucoup d'années jusqu'à l'âge de 17 ans.
Et tu chantes encore avec un chœur? Tu chantes encore avec des chœurs?
Pas à ce moment. Après que mon premier enfant est né, j'ai dit au revoir le chant choral juste pour du temps. Et juste à ce moment, je suis très dédiée à mes chœurs quand je chante. Et si je ne peux pas aller à toutes les répétitions,
Mhm.
tous les concerts, c'est, je trouve ça difficile. Alors, je veux quand j'ai du temps pour vraiment dédier mes temps. Mais avant mon premier enfant, c'était euh, oh gosh, Orpheus Chamber Choir avec Robert Cooper. C'est la
Mhm.
dernière. Oui.
Excellent. Tu as les qualités d'une choriste parfaite, très, très dédiée à la cause.
Je pratique chaque jour. Je suis vraiment dédiée, mais c'est un plaisir. Et alors, mais je le manque beaucoup.
Mhm.
Et j'espère que cette année qui vient, que je vais trouver mon prochain chœur pour chanter.
Ah, I was really,
Toronto Mendelssohn Choir, je ne sais
who
pas.
knows? I'd love to work with you, Megan.
You too.
Uh, I was really interested to read about your background in music therapy.
Mm.
And this probably leads to a deeper understanding of the benefits of group singing. And I was wondering how this background maybe influenced your approach to choral music, but also arts administration.
Well, music therapy, I started that program when I was 17. Like I went to the University of Windsor and did a Bachelor of Music Therapy. I was a chorister, a pianist, but I've never wanted to be a performer. Like I never wanted that career path. I knew I wanted to be in the arts, but I wasn't sure in what way. So I did the music therapy program, but at the same time, I just do want to note that at the University of Windsor, the head of the School of Music, Professor, I'm going to forget his name. What was his name? I wrote here, Professor David Palmer. Oh my gosh, he came up to me and said, you know. After getting to know you this year, I really think you should consider the arts management certificate. You've got this, business side to you, and I think you should give it a try. So that is one reason why that trajectory has happened for me. But I was still doing my music therapy degree. And how it's influenced me in my leadership styles and just as a choral artist is it really influenced my deep listening skills. Just to be able to turn off the internal dialogue that happens when you're talking to somebody and to really deeply listen. And that has influenced how I do everything all the time. And people tell me like, "Oh, I really feel like you were listening to me." And I'm like, I am listening to you. And that's what you learn in music therapy because you're there to listen to people about what goals are they trying to achieve, that where you use music to help do that. And you have to get to know people very quickly. And that was also another aspect that influenced me. And it also just showed me as well the influence that music has on people beyond the wonderful performative experiences of it, the joy and learning a new language, learning a new piece of music, the hard work that goes into it, but all these other aspects where music impacts people's lives and how that's just as valid and just as important as the other side of music performance, which is also valid and important. And it's all just we are all part of such an incredible art form that does so much and can reach, to me, everybody. Everybody can be reached by music, regardless of abilities, regardless of history of your life, regardless of your own personal abilities, deaf, blind, all those aspects. We can all participate in different ways of group singing.
Had you thought about arts administration before Dr. Palmer mentioned that to you? Was it something that
No.
was on your list? What was your first reaction when he mentioned that to you? Was it surprising?
What happened? I did have a part-time job before university where I called subscribers of the National Art Center Orchestra and Dance and would ask them if they'd like to buy tickets to the show. So I did do that. So I guess that was my first step into arts administration, arts management. And I did enjoy that. I did enjoy, if you can believe it, doing that type of work. I did enjoy it. So, but when he came to me and said, "We have this program," one, I had no idea that it was even something I could do when I was looking at universities and what kind of things could I do? I didn't even know that existed. And then two, just the fact that he sort of found me and pointed me to that. He wasn't doing that to all the students. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll give it a try. But I think some of it comes from a natural confidence that I have. I say natural, but it's only natural because I credit it to my choral experience. Being thrown into singing solos at a church service, 1 hour before and "Oh, Megan, you're doing this and you have to sing it." And it's like a whole crowd of people. And doing that over and over and over again, you start to realize that really you can do anything at that point. Yeah. And also when you fail hard, where you come in a beat early in a duet and just throw the whole thing off, but pick yourself up and keep going, get back into it. And then afterwards you're like, "Oh, I didn't die and everybody's okay." That confidence that I built through my choral experience is why I'm doing what I am doing today because of that. So,
and we learn so much through those little mistakes that we make sometimes. That we learn, those as a conductor, as a singer, as a musician. The number of time I also make mistakes and feel that's the end of the world, but then realize that no, it's just one little detail, and the skill of moving on is so powerful.
It absolutely is, because that's life. And being afraid of making mistakes will hold you back. And being able to just dive in, give it a try, even if you have no idea what's going to happen, do your research and try to plan for the best or plan for the worst and hope for the best. But you realize that we're all doing this, and that making mistakes is just life, and you'll figure it out.
That's right. That's right. Tell us about your first encounters with Choral Canada, your first moment, then your first date with Choral Canada. How did it go? How did it all started?
Well, one of my jobs back in the day was I was a festival coordinator for the Kiwanis Music Festival of Greater Toronto. And I shared office space with Choirs Ontario, which is the association for the choral community in Ontario. I volunteered with them for some time, which introduced me to Choral Canada. And then the job came up for being general manager. At the time, it was a general manager position. And I was encouraged to go for it. And I did. And that's what brought me in. But it's really funny. I had never heard of Choral Canada or Choirs Ontario or any of those things when I was a young singer. Now, it's possible I did hear of them, but it just didn't process. Um, but yeah, I didn't know. And that's been one of my goals too, is making sure that more and more people know about the organization. But yeah, that's how I found out. And it was like right up my alley. I'm a huge choir, passionate person. But also I thrive on the business side of things. So yeah.
Et comment tu résumerais ton expérience comme directrice générale de 2019 à 2025 avec une pandémie dans le milieu de cette période-là? C'est quoi ton expérience comme directrice générale?
C'était vraiment une expérience qui a uni les personnes. Si je peux changer les choses, oui, je ne veux pas qu'il y avait une pandémie, définitivement, mais c'était vraiment le catalyste pour notre communauté avec les chœurs et les groupes de chant, mais c'était aussi un catalyste euh, une, pour les organisations, les organismes comme Canada Choral, qui fait les services les arts, les secteurs des arts. Alors, c'était très, très difficile pour tout le monde. C'était pas seulement difficile pour Canada Choral, mais c'était moins difficile parce que toutes les personnes ont collaboré, ils ont aidé, on a vraiment trouvé une expérience qui a uni tout le monde. Alors, et l'autre chose que c'est changé vraiment, c'est la technologie, Zoom. Pour que à ce moment, c'était pas seulement podium, notre congrès, festival national, où était le temps qu'on peut voir les faces et pour voir les personnes et communiquer seulement pas par téléphone et les courriels. Alors Zoom a changé, technologie a changé beaucoup de choses pour Canada et pour notre communauté côte à côte. Alors, mais vraiment, c'était comme pour vous aussi et tout le monde, c'était très, très difficile. Et des fois, je ne veux pas penser parce que
Oui.
c'était un peu épeurant, mais we really, you know, everybody really stepped up,
Mhm.
kept going and innovated and just showed what an incredible art form this is, even when we can't be together, and made it work. So it was a humbling and unifying experience.
How do you see the new trends in arts or choral music across Canada? We went through the pandemic, as you mentioned, with all the changes that happened. How do you see the next 10 years somehow for choral music?
I think what I'm most excited about is that there is space for all types of group singing and choirs. So I don't see one replacing the other, which I think some people say, oh, there's this fear of, people aren't going to want to sing in Western classical choirs anymore. And I'm like, no, it's just that you're seeing more now that there are other types of choirs and singing groups out there. You just didn't know about them. And
Right.
people are feeling more confident to come out and be like, hey, there's this other group you can join, and there's this choir and this choir, and they're really popping up more and more. And so I'm hopeful, and I do believe, based on what I'm seeing, that this is a good trend, a continuing trend where people are looking for opportunities to connect and to sing in choirs. It's just about humans are complex and we all have different needs and wants. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that one group places the other, like I said. So I see the trend of more and more choirs and singing groups opening up, culturally based choirs where you immigrate and you can keep your language alive, and your culture, or you are learning a new language, like we see our newcomer choirs in Canada, where you have an opportunity to learn English and build community with people around you in other ways you might not do that. So I'm excited about that. And we also see community music programs happening as well at post-secondary institutions. Again, not to replace the others that are there and incredibly important, but to give different opportunities for group singing leaders to bring their skills and passions where they are. So that's my hope. I do think, though, that we all need to be participating in the advocacy for group singing and choirs, especially in our schools. And it's local, right? So, yeah, there's national organizations, but the advocacy and the voices have to happen locally, where the decision makers are deciding about, should we have these music programs? Or right now in Toronto, they're cutting intern music instructors. People need to speak up, and not just parents, the conductors, the singers, everybody who thinks choir and group singing is important. Bring your voice. We need you. And that's why I just want to make sure that message is there, that yes, I have hope, and yes, I see it growing and thriving, but we need to have young people getting access to choir and group singing at a young age, and just music education in general,
Yes.
high quality music education. And that is where I'm more worried, and would like to send that message of, your voice matters. Talk to your MPs, talk to your MPPs, talk to all those people, sign those petitions and everything. We all have to do that in order to show that this matters to us and matters to the future generations, because everyone deserves to have music in their lives.
Right. When we often talk about the power of music and the power of choral singing, and we know it. And often what talks to people, what speaks to people, are specific examples, things that change someone's life or change a community. Through your career, especially at your time with Choral Canada, have you seen really kind of specific personal example of someone, individuals or communities really being changed through or transformed through choral music?
Yes, and they're so numerous that it would be hard to, go through them all. And I know that we all know it. We've seen it. We've personally experienced the life-changing experiences, the life-changing, power of group singing and choral music, coming together and opening your voice with others around you. It's euphoric in some ways. Um, A few examples have been where I have known individuals who have expressed to me, knowing because of my job, that before they were in their choir, they felt ashamed of their voice, or just didn't really open up, thought they had no, I have no music skills. And it's like, well, everybody has music skills, like riding a bike or any sort of thing. You just have to try it and do it. But have told me that their lives have entirely changed once they were encouraged to participate. So that's a big one. Like, encourage people in your community to, like, come join. just give it a try, see what happens, come to a concert. You don't know until you know, right?
That's right.
And I remember there's this one specific woman who said that she was singing in her car and singing along, and her friend turned to her and said, don't do that. Don't sing out loud." And she never did until she was encouraged. I think it was Francois Ouimet at Camac who said to her, "Yeah, just come join, like just experience it, see what it is." And life changing from then on for her. And it's just choir is a big part of her life, made new friends, learned new languages, experienced new music. So that's just one person. And I've just heard this over and over and over again. And then I think that the other ones are just people who, like the newcomer choirs, who have built community and learned the language. Like we know the benefits of group singing can do for learning language.
Right.
And then another one is Singwell, the program through Toronto Metropolitan University, where they're doing singing groups for people with communication disorders. So aphasia, lung disorders, lung diseases, etc., and who have done testimonials and have said, "It changed my life. I felt like, you know, I would never get better. Life was terrible." And then I just joined this small group once a week where we would sing together, and everything turned around for me. And it sounds dramatic for people who don't know. But once you know, and you're like, yes, I totally know what they're talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
So there you go.
There's just so much power in those specific personal examples. I think we connect so much with those, and I think those are often the stories that speak to people, and stories that have to be shared and kind of discussed to make a change and make sure people really see the power of choral music for everybody and singing for everybody.
Yeah.
Talking about younger people, quel conseil donnerais-tu à des jeunes leaders qui aimeraient faire une carrière en administration des arts, qui aimeraient aller dans ce domaine, supporter les arts comme administrateur, comme leader? Qu'est-ce que tu as appris et qu'est-ce que tu partagerais avec eux?
Um, la vie maintenant, c'est cher. Alors, je comprends ça. Mais si tu as des opportunités d'être une bénévole, juste pour participer dans un festival ou avec votre chœur ou groupe de chant, avec le conseil d'administration, n'importe quoi, tout ça, c'est administration. Et s'il y a quelque chose pour toi tu aimes cette expérience, il y a beaucoup d'opportunités d'avoir une carrière en administration dans les arts où tu peux suivre votre passion des arts, mais aussi de vraiment faire une différence qui est important parce que on veut soutenir les artistes et les personnes qui font leur carrière en la musique ou n'importe quoi. Et il y a beaucoup d'opportunités, pas seulement dans la musique, aussi dans les arts visuels ou dans la danse ou n'importe quoi, littérature. Alors, je pense que c'est ça, mais c'est expérience, vraiment, c'est de trouver les opportunités pas seulement être le leader, mais de soutenir le leader, d'apprendre les façons d'être un leader. Je pense que ça, c'est les choses très importantes. Et à le temps, quand tu es une jeune personne, tu as du temps. Alors, juste allez faire toutes les opportunités que vous pouvez. Et il y a beaucoup de programmes. En Ontario, on a Working Culture et ils ont comme des webinaires et des autres comment tu dis professional development en français, le développement
Développement
professionnel.
professionnel, oui.
C'est la même chose, OK. Alors, c'est pas seulement que tu dois avoir un undergrad avec l'université, ça c'est important, mais tu peux aussi avoir une éducation dans juste l'expérience avec les différents organismes des arts. Je pense que c'est une des carrières les plus fulfilling. Et vraiment, c'est une bonne idée de suivre une carrière en les administrations des arts. Et aussi parce que tu dois faire toutes les choses. Tu dois être une personne qui est bonne avec les finances et je ne sais pas, juste toutes les choses. Alors, tu peux utiliser these skills dans les autres carrières si tu veux changer your path. Alors, there you go.
Et c'est vraiment une façon de joindre plusieurs passions et plusieurs talents, des fois l'administration, la finance, la gestion de projet et une passion pour la musique. Et des fois, ça prend quelqu'un qui nous le rappelle, comme Dr. Palmer, qui l'a mentionné pour toi peut-être, et d'autres personnes. Des fois, il faut juste voir qu'il y a une façon de mettre toutes ces passions-là ensemble et ça peut être un chemin qui est favorable. So
Mhm.
after more than 10 years with Choral Canada, what is next now? Are there any specific personal projects or professional projects that are coming up, singing with the choir again or something?
Yes. So I'm in a time of exploration, but I am staying in the arts management career. It is what I love to do. And so I'm still taking part in advocacy for the arts. It's very important to me and participating in that. I'm consulting. I'm wanting to get involved in other art forms as well. Like I was mentioning, there's visual arts and literature. I also want to down the road. We'll see where it goes, but I want to continue to support incoming arts managers and to support them in the work that they want to do and giving opportunities for them. So we'll see. But right now, like my next steps are that I've taken on some contracts with some arts organizations and doing the management side for them. And my goal in life is to see the arts thrive and to make sure that our communities have access to high quality experiences because it changes lives and choral music for sure, but all the arts. So that's where I'm going.
Excellent. We really look forward to see what is next. Exactly. I mean, you've been so fantastic at supporting the choral arts. I feel that I know what you've been doing, but I don't know you so well. So I figure we can do maybe a quick fire questions challenge.
Love
I
it.
prepare 10 of them
Got it.
and answer as it comes. Some of them are easy, some of them we'll see, but let's see how it goes. First one. What is the first choir you ever sang in?
I would probably say it was my elementary school choir. So here, like define, because our classrooms
That's
sang,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the official choir,
I would
but
call
we
it I would
sang.
call it a choir.
I would call it a choir, and this is, the fun game of what's a choir
Mhm.
that we all play. But to me, it's a group of people coming get together to sing, which we were, and so it was. I was in Montessori, and I have home videos of me singing songs with my class. So I would say it was that, and I was singing very loudly
See, you had the passion from the start.
from the start. Yeah,
When you kick off your morning, coffee or tea? Or
coffee.
coffee, yeah, okay, I agree.
Coffee, but I love tea as well. Earl Grey,
Okay.
but I love coffee too. Americano.
Oh, yeah, same here. Snack of choice?
Oh, Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, good choice, good choice.
Mhm.
What's the one thing you always do first when you sit down at your desk to work?
I actually meditate, do a little meditation. And I put it in, my earphones and I meditate. So I just sort of ground myself for the day because it gets busy really quickly. And I open my email. That's my first thing. I want to see, okay, how many
What's
emails
there?
do I have? What can I knock off right away and
Yes.
answer?
Mm,
So yeah, that's how I start my day.
but meditation is great. Okay.
Hmm.
If Choral Canada had a theme song, what do you think it should be?
Oh, we had a theme song. I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but for me, Nothing Gold Can Stay by Stephanie Martin, which has become the theme song for National Youth
Uh,
Choir Canada. And now there's the bilingual version.
yes.
Um, yeah, that's how I feel about choir in general. And so that would be the theme song. Yeah.
It really does. Yeah, it does create those gold moments when we sing with others, and then we have to
Hmm.
cherish them. I love the
Hmm.
song. One thing choral music taught you about leadership.
What is that saying? The well, I can't think of it, but there is no I in team.
Yes.
Um, we are much stronger together, and
Mhm.
people often say, "Oh, wow, these amazing things that Choral Canada has done." Megan, congratulations! I'm like, not just me. And it never has been. I am surrounded by incredible people, and because we're all choir people, we know how to work together, and that has been the absolute best part of this job. So I would say that, yeah, that you are stronger together than you are alone.
Indeed. If you could
Mm.
sing a duet with any musician, who would that be?
My mother,
Oh,
she's a fantastic singer. And we were just talking about singing a duet the other day. So,
see?
um, yeah, well, I sing in choirs. I grew up in the choir world because my parents sing in choir, and they still do. They sing in St. Matthew's Church Choir
Mhm.
still. My dad is the longest standing member in that choir. He's over 70 now, and he started when he was 8. So, choir music is choral music is a huge part of my life, and I have sung many duets with my mother, and I hope to sing more with her in the future.
Oh, excellent. Best choral piece ever written, just based on your own taste, to you.
Honestly, like, if I could just pick a song to sing, I'd probably sing Zadok the Priest. I just love
Oh,
it. Yeah.
perfect choice with the king being being in town.
There you go.
Excellent.
How apropos. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, really powerful piece. Okay,
Mhm.
best advice you've ever received in your career,
Mm. Best advice I've ever received?
or wish you would have received, maybe.
I wish I would have received. I I do think of advice that I've received that I'm like, I wish I hadn't followed that advice, but I won't mention those ones.
Oh,
I think one is actually from Kelly Walsh, who was a president of Choral Canada at one point, and we were talking about people who could join committees or be on the board or all of that. And I was concerned about some people saying, "Well, I don't know if they can give," and she would say to me, never assume about what people can give and what their skills are until you really get to know them, and you'll be surprised more often than not of when somebody really steps up in that moment of where you need them, or um, this challenge comes and they're the ones who solve it. Just because they're not ticking your boxes on other areas like showing up to every board meeting and contributing in these ways, she said, people give in different ways, and you just need to give them time and you need to get to know them,
excellent.
which I did.
And and lastly, what's one innovation that you'd love to see in the choral world?
What's one innovation I'd love to see in the choral world? Well, It's more on the technology side, but I do hope one day that there is a way for us to be able to sing online without a lag. I still think singing in person is 1,000 times better, but there are a lot of people out there who could participate in group singing if they through technology,
Yeah.
if it was possible. People who are isolated in their homes or like for health issues or whatever it may be. Or, I'm sick and I can't come to rehearsal. It's
Yes.
like, well, we'll just live
No
stream our
excuse.
rehearsal. No
Sure.
excuses. You now have to still practice. Forget snowstorms. So I think
Yes,
that would be just a really cool
that would be amazing.
innovation. One day maybe that'll happen. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Megan, for your time. And that was great to get to know you more, both what you did, but also hear so much about your passion, your dream duet with your mother. I'm sure we'll get to hear it at some point in the future. Who knows?
Who
Uh,
knows? Yeah.
so un grand merci d'avoir partagé tes expériences, tes idées, puis ta passion. J'invite tous ceux qui nous écoutaient à se joindre à nous pour l'Académie chorale d'été de Montréal qui débute le 15 juin. We'll be starting with a roundtable discussing, as we just did with Megan, the power of many voices, the power of choral singing. For more information, you can look at our website, mcgill.ca/choral, mcgill.ca/choral. Thank you again, Megan. Hope to see you and many others as part of our academy coming up soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.